Town Council meeting for today, February 23rd at 6:35 p.m. Please stand for an invocation and a moment of silence.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious God, we give you thanks for this day that you have given to us, and we're thankful for the way you provide for our needs, and we're thankful for the community in which we live. And ask for your blessings upon these deliberations this evening, that they may go well and accomplish the good purpose for which they are intended, that our community might be made better and our life as well. Thank you for everything in Christ's name. Amen.
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 Thank you. A moment of silence, please. Commissioner Ward, can you lead us in a pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Madam Clerk Treasurer, could you call the roll, please?
Certainly. Councilman Span. Councilman Hardaway.
Here.
Councilman Minchuk.
Here.
Councilwoman Yuzlak.
Here.
Councilman Pettit.
Here.
Councilman White.
Here.
Councilman Bella.
Here.
All 7 present.
Thank you. Moving on to petitions, communications, acknowledgements, and remonstrations. We have a letter from LWG for Municipal Advisory Services. Mr. Reardon.
Thank you, sir.
I kind of tossed it right at him, didn't I?
That's right. This is an engagement letter having specifically to do with the refunding of the bonds. Previously referred to as the Cinderella bonds.
Cinderella, here we go.
And
For Liberty Estates.
I apologize, Mr. President.
I do too, Mr. Reardon.
Yes, this letter,
I don't see my letter, so that's why I'm,
I don't see it.
okay. This letter has specifically to do with the proposed Liberty Estates project, engaging the financial services of London Woody as we continue through the process. And as indicated, the anticipated fees are $35,000.
thank you, Pat. And I found my letter. Is there a motion for approval to spend?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Pettit, second by Mrs. Uselak for approval of London Woody for the amount, anticipated fees of $35,000 for the project as Pat described. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the engagement letter from Barnes and Thornburg to serve as a bond counsel for the town of Merrillville in connection with the proposed insurance of general obligation bonds for a fixed fee in the amount of $30,750. It's the second letter, right, Pat?
That's correct.
So moved.
Second. A motion from Mr. Pettit, second from Mr. Hardaway to approve this item. Any questions or comments? These letters were in your packets. I think they were toward the back. Sorry. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have the items, accounts payable voucher for approval for February 23rd, 2021, the approval of the town council meeting minutes of February 9th and February 17th.
So moved.
Mrs. Uselak, second by Mr. Span, for approval of the consent agenda as submitted. Is Any questions or comments on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Mr. White?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to standing committees, Budget and Finance, Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had the Budget and Finance meeting just a few minutes ago and going over to get an idea of where we are and to make sure that we continue to maintain our spending. Again, I appreciate Tricia for coming out, and we will have another Budget and Finance meeting on March the 23rd at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Council Affairs, Mr. Pettit.
No report.
Elections, Public Relations, and Town Beautification, Mr. Pettit.
You skipped Public Works,
I
Mr.
did.
President.
That's my prerogative.
Sorry.
Mr. Pettit.
Okay. As far as public relations, I think Linda sent us all out an email. As you folks know, I'm our board member to the Crossroads Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are having a Cheers to 10 Years event. It's the first event at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center on Saturday, March 13th. Mr. Bella, as council president, will be handing out the Legacy Award. We've come up with 10 different awards for different businesses here in town. It is exactly what it says. It's for one of the longest standing businesses in the town. I do know the winner, but I'm sworn to confidentiality. But as a part of that, we've sponsored 2 tables, and so we have 12 places for the council if you want to attend. It's from 6 to 9 o'clock. Cocktails 6 to 7 in the Robinson Engineering pre-function room, and then in the Mike Anderson Event Center, we will have a full dinner. You like that branding, Joe?
You're like a NASCAR driver.
I am. Hey, when they put out the sponsorship money, they get their name.
Let me get your jacket there.
We will hand out the awards, and then from 8 to 9, Jan and her staff are going to be taking some of the local businesses and people that are there on a tour of the center, which
Nice.
we all know how beautiful it is. So, that's all I have right now. Town beautification, we've talked about doing these signs. I need to get a committee meeting together and talk about the entryway signs as the weather breaks here.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Pettit. Public Works, Mr. Minchuk.
Yes, sir. I have no updated report right now, other than I know since our last meeting, we had a couple big storms. Our employees did a real good job of cleaning the town up with what they had. They did a real good job. You have anything for our street department? Okay. All right, so you deserve it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I have a question for the chief and for Kevin. I know in the cul-de-sacs, Kevin, you guys are struggling with people parking on the streets, and I don't know how many of you guys got calls about the 2-inch snowfall and our guys not being able to get around, and then depending on the trash collection, we had the 2-day delay in trash collection, and people sticking trash cans out in the streets.
Yes.
Chief, I don't know what we need to, how do we handle the towing if we get calls or we call in? What's the best way to do that? And then let Kevin's guys know that, okay, you can go back out and plow 87th Court because it's cleared with the 2 or 3 cars that we're blocking. How do we handle this?
Well, we had an issue for a minute as far as town ordinance, but I think we cleared it up today.
Okay,
We usually deal with the code enforcement officers,
okay.
and if they have an issue, and then they contact us.
But we've got the tow contract we have. They'll come out and get those out of the way so Kevin's guys can plow, right?
The 2 towing companies we have, they will come out.
Okay, all right. Good enough.
I
Question.
have called Tiffany and the other code enforcer too, and they've been right on the ball. They put out warning tickets. Cars were parked there with the big snowfall, and I have to give Kevin credit. God, they came out 2-3 times to go back over the street.
Yeah.
Because they had to go around the cars.
And the
So-
problem we've got too, Margie, in my neighborhood is we weren't getting mail delivery. A couple of my residents said, the guys couldn't get around the cars and they couldn't get to the curb line, Kevin, so they couldn't get their mail. The mailman wouldn't go to the couldn't get to the mailboxes. So,
Yeah, we've had complaints on that too with the mailboxes, so
I have a
we'll
question
try to
for.
fix that up with an ordinance, I believe.
Mr. White.
Yeah, I just had a question for Chief Petrus. I'm sorry, call you Petrus. Because that was on my. Actually, what I'm wondering is that when we do have the snow
2-inch snow violation, do they get ticketed and have a time to remove it, or it's just like, hey, the snowplow can't get past, let's get it out of here right now? Because you do got senior citizens, this was a little different snow, this was 18 inches and stuff. Right. So you probably been towing a lot of cars. So I just want to know the process in the terms of, do we call court enforcement like Marge said, and then they ticket the car and give them how many hours to move it?
They
Or you
give them
just say,
usually 72, I think.
right, so
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying is that with the 72 hours or the 2-inch snow rule, do you just come and snatch that car because the snowplow can't get past, or do you give them the 72 hours?
They get the 72-hour ticket
Right.
warning, and then if they're not moved within that time, they could call the tow truck.
Okay.
I mean, I've
I
seen
just
that
want
in
some
my ward.
clarification on that,
I'm not in
because
charge of this towing thing.
Because I just had my own experience with that, and I never got a ticket for it. I just looked out the window, my car was gone.
Really? Did you call Vicky?
Didn't call anybody because it was gone. I just said, where's my car?
Oh, you mean somebody towed in your car?
Yes, the
Oh,
town of
okay.
Merrillville towed my car.
When
And
was that?
this was 4 years back, and I had to pay $140 to get it back.
Oh, okay.
So I never got a ticket or sticker on the car saying you got a certain time to move it.
Yeah.
I just looked out the window and seen a flatbed truck out there, so that's why
Well,
I asked
Vicky
that.
and Tiffany always give warning tickets.
I never
I've
got that
seen.
warning, so
Oh,
all
okay.
I know is my car ended up gone. So I just wanted
Well,
some
then-
clarification on that, Chief. Okay.
What they do is they put a sticker on there and give you ample time to move it. Now, if you don't move it, they tow it. Now, if they didn't do that, it sounds like a procedural violation.
Well, actually, and I appreciate you saying that, I was outside with in my T-shirt asking them, I'm out here right now, can I get my car? And they say, no, I was told to tow your car. So I never got a ticket or I never got a sticker. All I did had to pay the $140 to get it out of the impound. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. White?
That's
We
it.
need a, good. Mr. Minchuk, anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you. Environmental Affairs, Mrs. Uselak.
Okay, I'll talk about the COVID-19, the virus.
Great.
National media has reported 500,000 deaths across America, which I have seen on TV and read about, and it's really a disaster because we did not lose that many people with Vietnam, World War I, or the Korean War. So I encourage everybody to get the vaccination. That would really help. All of the people, all of the hospitals in our area and the different health organizations, they are giving out the vaccinations. So I've already had my second one, and I feel everybody should do it to be safe. That's my opinion. Okay?
Thank you, Marge.
Sure.
Personnel Policy and Employee Benefits, Mr. Hardaway.
I don't have anything, Mr. President. Pat is not here, so
Where is Pat?
I don't know.
he disappeared. I don't have anything at this time, and if Pat's got something, then he'll bring us up to speed. Unless you have something, Mr. President.
No, it's fine, thank you. Public Safety, Mr. Minchuk.
I had to sit down earlier today, and we had a discussion about the storage problems that the police department's having. We had kind of a roundabout with some department heads on what some ideas might be for that. Got a little bit more research to do. Once we get something reportable, we'll come back to you and let you know, sir. Other than that, Chief, you have anything?
No.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Thank you,
Gentlemen, I'd like to thank that guy that's plowing in my ward. He's doing an excellent job. I mean, it's impressive. Because that snow is banked so high, it's ridiculous. But,
Very good.
please let Public Works know I appreciate the job they're doing for Ward.
Well, Kevin, did you hear?
Kevin, yeah.
Did you hear the compliment? Could you let your crew know that we're all thankful for their hard work? Thank you. Economic Development, Mr. Pettit.
Yes, Mr. President, at the next redevelopment commission, we're going to have Pat give us an update on Project Eagle. If you will remember, we had an executive session with a potential buyer. He asked for some confidentiality. I did sign a purchase agreement, and Pat has been working his way through with Joe on a project labor agreement with the Building Trades Council, Mr. Palmetier. as well as in a development agreement. If you also remember, this is a large-scale project that they're going to be doing. So I think I'll have Pat, hopefully by then, Joe, we will have closed on that property, I think is Pat's timeline. So at the next RDC meeting, I'm going to have him give an overview of Project Eagle. Hopefully by then, Project Merit will have gone public. Many of you are seeing the 140,000 square foot building on the 35 acres down at Ameriplex. Midwest Tire, I believe, is under roof out at Ameriplex. Rick and I heard, along with Pat, heard another potential project called Project Glamorous out at Ameriplex at the crossroads that wants to buy land. So, Pat, I was telling the rest of the members at the next RDC meeting, we'd probably like to get an overview on some of those projects, and particular Project Eagle, and what we're going to need to do to finalize that. Hopefully you and Joe can close on that before that meeting on March 9th.
That would be fantastic, speaking for everyone involved.
That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you. Parks and Recreations, Mrs. Uselak.
Oh, yes, as I have reported before, all the parks have been rehabbed in Merrillville except the Curtis Park in Ward 5, which Jan will probably look into around springtime. And maybe Miss Orlich has something to report about the community center.
Good evening. First, I apologize today for being late, but we had a vagrant access the Dean and White Community Center, hid in the shower rooms.
What?
The building was locked. The man proceeded to take a shower, tripped off an alarm. Police contacted me. They apprehended the man. He didn't take anything. The police searched his bag. And the man actually looked like one of the construction workers. So he probably passed through the front door without anybody knowing that. So I had called Andrew, and we're going to sit and discuss this tomorrow during the some kind of system where we check people that walk in and out of that facility. And then goes to show that my staff, or whoever is the last in there, I don't know who was this evening, but they have to do a full check before they leave that facility. On another note, I sit on the NERPC's 3PC committee, and last year we had an opportunity to take advantage of a federal grant to put signage on the E&L trail, and we have the same opportunity now to put trailhead signs and mile markers on the CNO trail. So with the council's approval, I would like to move forward with NERPC in that project. I don't know the cost, but it will be an 80-20 split. We'll be responsible for 20%, just like the E&L. And the total cost for the signage on the E&L was somewhere around $14,000-15,000. So with the council's approval, I will also move forward with that
Go on,
project.
make the motion, I'll second. Okay, I'll make a
It's your
motion
chair,
to that
it's your
effect.
committee, Margie, but I-
Okay, well, I thought you said you wanted to make
that's
a motion.
okay. You go ahead.
Okay, I will make a motion to that effect, okay?
I'll second Margie's motion.
Okay,
And I'll
thank you.
And I'll provide you with all the signage prior to it going up and let you know the locations and the cost.
Very good, thank you, Jan.
And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
I thought you
We
said,
have a motion on the floor.
yeah.
We sure do. I was waiting for Jan to finish. All set? We have a motion and a second by the Uselak Pettit team tonight.
Use like that,
Is
okay.
there any discussion further? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, Jan.
Thank you.
very good. Thank you, Jan.
Anything else, Mrs. Uselak?
No, that's it for now, Mr. President.
Thank you. Abandoned and blighted properties, Mr. Hardaway.
We haven't had a meeting yet. Our first meeting is going to be Thursday at 10:30 a.m. But I would encourage everyone, if you see any abandoned or blighted buildings in your area, to please let us know. so that we can start cataloging them and making sure that, having Vicky go after the people that own them to see what their intent is. And we also will check the tax sale to see if any of those items are up on the tax sale. But just let us know, and we will do the best job that we possibly can to make sure that we continue to maintain the integrity of our entire town.
Sure.
Are we going to ticket them for court with the blighted houses and areas where they're not taking care of them? I think at one time we gave them a warning ticket and
Right.
then a ticket.
We will, we will continue to do that, Mark, and we want to make sure that, people continue to cut their grass and
Yes.
continue to maintain the outside of their property, no gutters falling down, no fences falling down. No, if a gutter's falling down, make them put it back up, but we can't make them take it down.
So then they will be subject to come to the Merrillville court.
Right,
Okay,
Yeah.
just to make sure.
yeah, right.
Okay,
Well,
because
we may
I've
not
been
come to
calling
court.
people in my ward and telling them, do this, do that, or else you're going to court.
Right, well, it may not come to the court, but it will come to our blight hearing.
Our blighted committee
Right,
hearing.
yeah.
Very good.
Right. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, when you have one, I'd like to attend the next one too,
Right.
Richard, if you don't mind.
I'll make sure that Vicky lets you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Dean and Barbara White Community Center, Mr. Minchuk, Mr. Pettit.
Go ahead, Sean.
A lot going on. Jan is and her staff are doing yeoman's efforts. We're primarily finished with the center. We have flooring in the rock wall area that's got to be installed, and then a lot of signage that Rick and Jan have been working on with Andrew Farmer. We open 8 a.m. on Monday, March 1st? Monday morning, open to the public. The courts look fantastic. The walking path turned out great. I think a lot of you know the sponsorships that have come in, and we cannot thank the sponsors enough, starting with the Dean and Barbara White family, Bozak Auto Group, Centir, NIPSCO on the basketball courts, Meyer Galeros on the rock climbing wall, the Methodist Fitness Center. The locker rooms are sponsored by Polycon Industries. Commercial Insights has sponsored a room. Sherry Modrak with McDonald's has sponsored a room. The AFL-CIO has sponsored a room. Mike Anderson is sponsoring the event center. Core sponsored the outdoor patio. They're getting ready to start on the concession stand press box. All the equipment is in there. And somewhat of a surprising sponsor, which I got to give kudos to Steve King for, because I asked him to do this, and by God, one of our good road vendors came through. Greg Furman from Dyer Construction is buying 20 basketballs and 20 volleyballs, 2 ping pong tables, 100 ping pong balls, and all the paddles, right, Steve?
Good, good.
So we'll put Dyer's logo on certain things out there. Jeff had an idea one Saturday morning. We were having a committee meeting about doing a brick program and selling bricks. I'm going to do it. We all kind of committed, and I would put it out to the rest of the council. The bricks are $100 a piece. Rick's got some artwork he can share with us where they're stickers, but they're going to look like bricks, and you can have whatever name, business, whatever you want to have in there. That's going to be on that east wall by the Bozak Court if you've been in there. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Randy Palmatier and Joe again with the Union Lounge sponsorship. Jeff's been instrumental in that, getting that designed. We've got some cool, very nice furniture that's in there. Walk through there. It's turned out to be an absolutely beautiful facility. And as I alluded to earlier, Joe had taken Bill Hanna from the White Family Foundation, and he was just, to quote Joe, blown away. And I think all of our citizens are going to be proud. We've been good stewards of the money. Pat gave us a rundown on where all the funds are at. So, Monday's a big day in the history of the town of Merrillville. It really is.
Good.
Is there a particular time that the elected officials are going to show up there, Sean, or no? Have you thought about that?
I don't know. I got to put up billboards somewhere, Rich, so I got to work, so. I don't know. I don't know, Jan, what do you want to, we can talk about it if you guys want to.
Real
We
quick.
really haven't set a ribbon cutting / grand opening.
Right.
the guys from CORE have been wanting to try and coordinate something where we bring some people in, and obviously, the very first invitation that gets extended is to Bruce White. And I know Joe's been having some discussions, and whether or not the family wants to attend something like that or not, that's obviously their discretion. They're somewhat private, I think, Joe, and,
Yeah,
you know.
it would, what we would be doing is we'd be looking at not only inviting the trustees, which includes Bruce, we'd invite Bill Hanna,
Yeah.
and then Paula Spada.
Paula Spada,
who's
yeah.
instrumental.
And then obviously all the sponsorships that are on the listing. Rick, Rick or Jan, am I missing anything, or Jeff, did I?
I was just gonna say that, you know, with the COVID problems we had and through the construction and everything, that, you know, we'll probably wait for a nicer day.
Yeah.
A little bit down the road. Let's just get the place open, let's get it running, let's get things going. We can have a celebration, grand opening,
Yeah.
you know, late spring, early summer, something like that.
Yeah.
Depending on how things go.
I think you forgot about the reservations. Weren't there people that have reserved the hall or banquet room too? I think you had mentioned
Well,
that
we've
before.
got, Epic United Volleyball Club is renting, Tuesday night they have one court, Wednesday night they have two courts, so they're gonna start the girls are gonna start practicing in there next week, right, Jan?
Yes.
And then the Merrillville Wrestling Club will be on the NIPSCO court 4 days a week? Is that right?
Yeah, Nike, 4 days a week.
Nike 4 days a week, but what about the wrestling club? Aren't they in there?
3 nights a week.
3 nights a week for the Merrillville Wrestling Club. So the gym's gonna be busy right out of the get-go.
Occupied.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I would anticipate, and Jan can speak better to this, but there's probably gonna be a lot of walkers that are gonna wanna get in there and use that elevated walking, given the weather, I mean, that sort of thing, so.
Steve and I also were hoping that the council could either get together at noon or whenever you get off of work, because we were wanting to invite the press there, and then, of course, take a picture of the council by the bronze sign that was hung outside of the building.
Can everybody make it at noon on Monday?
I'm good.
Yes, I'll be there.
All
I have
right,
to check my schedule at work, but I'll let you know.
noon on Monday, and we'll get
Take your
Chaz will
lunch.
take our picture.
Take your lunch, Jeff.
Take your lunch.
Yeah,
Aren't you making us sandwiches, Margie?
sure. I'll get Pat to order everything and I'll make the sandwiches. Okay. You're
That's all,
on it
Mr.
again,
President.
Sean. Okay. Oh, boy.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Special projects, Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's no update on the food and beverage at this particular time, but Joe and myself, we continue to monitor that, and if there's anything that we need to bring back to you guys, we will, as far as that goes. On Thursday at, I think it's at 8:30, we will meet with Dr. Brown and Dr. Lackey.
Yes.
At the school corporation to, I'm anticipating that this is going to be to start talking about when we want to schedule diversity training for the town employees. That's.
Well, for us first.
Say that again?
For us first, the circle.
Right,
study.
yeah, I know, yeah, with the study circle.
Yep.
The town birthday committee, we have 7 people that volunteered. It's a great group. Thank your wife again, Rick. Tell her we appreciate her,
Sure.
bellying up to the bar for this thing. We're going to have our first meeting prior to the next town council meeting. So I will have a report for you at the next council meeting as to our plans, because we're going to be looking to hit the ground running now, because we're going to be into the 3rd month of the 1st quarter, and we want to start doing some things in the 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, and then accumulate it in the 4th quarter with a great celebration.
Good.
So that's all I have.
Thank you. Moving on to commission reports, Lake County Solid Waste Management District, Mr. White.
No report.
NERC, Mr. Hardaway.
Our next meeting is March 18th, and after that, on the 23rd, I should have a report.
Thank you. Mr. Lake, a report from Stormwater Management?
I want to mention that we were recertified as a CRS community. That's a community rating system. And what that does, it automatically lowers high-risk policy flood insurance by 15% for all of our residents.
Nice.
There's only a handful in the state, and I think we're only one of two in Northwest Indiana. So I just wanted to let you guys know.
Great, congratulations. Department head reports. Sheila? Mr. King? He's got a notebook, too. Uh-oh.
There's nothing on it. I'm gonna speak from the heart. Just to give a quick update to everybody, our community crossings projects, the two, main roads we're doing, went out for, advertised for bid on Monday. They'll be, publicly open here at Town Hall on March 15th, and we hope to award contracts to, the lowest, bidder on the council meeting on the 23rd. Also, our local paving project that we've all been discussing, that's gonna go out for bid here next week. It'll also be open here at a public meeting, I think March 17th, we're set to open. And, if we can get the bids and stuff reviewed in enough time, award the same contracts, at the 23rd council meeting.
The lowest, most responsive and responsible.
Yes. The ordinance is in the bid.
We have criteria.
So that's all I got.
Thank you, Counselor. Clarification. Thank you, Mr. King. Mr. Markle?
I talked to a few of you about our salt problem, and I tried to explain that how we order it, we've been ordering it twice a week and throughout the winter, and then all of a sudden, before this last big snow, they never showed up. Well, we still haven't got that order completed yet. And I started calling around, and everybody that's on the contract, on the state contract with Cargill this year, is having the same problem. So we finally got ordered in, and they don't have the drivers. St. Louis, whoever can come down here to haul salt with it. That's how, for some reason, they don't have somebody. Everybody's having problems with Cargill this year. It's never been like that before, but it just happened. So, I mean, we plowed all last week with no salt. We made it through it thanks to the police and everybody who put up with us, but I just want to let everybody know that it is a problem with all the communities, and schools, and everybody. It's just not us. And if anybody gets phone calls about their mailboxes, we're out there temporarily fixing mailboxes. Once the snow melts a little bit and we can actually get to the ground, we'll go back and fix everything that kind of got pushed over.
Yeah. Okay.
So just letting everybody know. I'm sure you got a few of those. And that's about it.
Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Reardon?
Thank you, Mr. Bella. I just want to let the council know that we recently received information from the Lake County Economic Development Department having to do with Merrillville's 21-22 Community Development Block Grant allocation. The approximate amount is $135,000. I will compress that package down and share the information with you. I would encourage you to start thinking of projects that you would recommend we invest those dollars in. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Moving on tonight to general orders, we have ordinance 20-16. Madam Clerk Treasurer.
20-16 is the amended ordinance setting out the fees for the community center. Would you like for me to read just the
Sure.
synopsis? Sure.
Yeah, that's.
An ordinance of the
it's
town, okay. An ordinance of the town of Merrillville, Lake County, Indiana, fixing the parks and non-reverting fees for the year 2021, whereas it is necessary by Indiana state law to establish a fee structure for the parks non-reverting fund. for the town of Merrillville, and whereas the town council has determined the following fees for the different programs offered by the town of Merrillville's Park Department for the year 2021. Now therefore be it ordained pursuant to the authority granted by the Constitution and the legislature of the state of Indiana, be it enacted by the town council of Merrillville, Lake County, Indiana, the following approved fees. And they're listed. Is that you?
So specifically, we're lowering a lot of the fees involved for the community center, the fitness center. You'll see those highlighted in yellow. And I think Mr. Minchuk suggested some of these. Do you want to talk about it, Jeff, a little bit?
I'll let you go ahead.
Okay, all right. Basically, there's not going to be an excuse for any of us not to be fit after March 1st. The fees are drastically lowered. This was done because, as Sean mentioned earlier, we've just been overwhelmed with sponsorships that came in, unanticipated. The Dean and Barbara White Family Foundation gift, of course, is taking off a lot of pressure for the operational side of the center. And so we can drastically reduce the fees to come in and use the center. So that's what this ordinance does. It lowers various items for use of the center.
Excuse
Dan?
me, Mr. President, if I could just make a couple comments.
Go ahead, sure.
During the last meeting when I had met with you, the clerk treasurer had made a comment about open gym for the Merrillville residents. I did talk to our recreation coordinator, and this is a fee that wasn't discussed, but I put it in here so you can consider it, hopefully this evening. So we do, on weekends when we are not rented, ages 18 and up, we do have open gym for adults. It would be $6 for a Merrillville resident and $12 for a non-resident. We thought that we would run that program, and that's a day that we would incorporate some security from the Merrillville Police Department just to make sure things go smoothly.
Great. So Sean, that addresses some of the discussions we had about open gym time for.
Right, but I would caution everyone, and I don't know if I need to add this in, Joe, or not, or to Chief Catino. I think this facility has a zero tolerance. If we have to call the police out and you're in a fight when you're in open gym, you are out forever. I don't care if you're a Merrillville resident. I don't care if we got to send our officers to break up a fight at this place. This place has got to be safe and secure for all of the public. And this is one of the problems I had in my ward, back to Project Eagle and the field house. Luther, you probably went out on calls out there. They were bringing in tournaments and guys were getting in fights. That's not going to be tolerated at this center. So I don't have a problem with the open gym and over 18, but it's going to be enforced. It needs to be enforced. So however we want to handle that as a council or through our police department, I'm open for suggestions.
Just so you know, Chief Catino has 3 of his staff members that have given me their business card that are available to us. So once we get the schedules together, we'll share that with Chief Catino. I'm sure that he will designate an officer there for our open gyms. We'll give him those schedules along with the security schedules for the event center, and we'll go from there. And of course, the police department, along with us, will monitor that. And I totally agree with you. And I just want to bring up that I attended a community meeting with Mr. Minchuk, and that was the #1 concern of parents that were there, right, Jeff? They want to send their kids, but they want to make sure it's safe, otherwise they're not going to send their kids there.
Right.
And that's what we want to make sure that we do.
Yep.
Great, thank you, Jan.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 20-16 on first reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Pettit, a second by Mrs. Uselak. Is there any questions or comments on the ordinance? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Councilman Span?
Yes.
Councilman Hardaway?
Yes.
Councilman Minchuk?
Yes.
Councilman Uzelak?
Yes.
Councilman Pettit?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
President Bella?
Yes.
7 in favor.
7 in favor, motion carries.
Mr. President, this being
Pettit.
first reading, Does this have to be advertised, Joe, and then, or can we adopt on second tonight? So she can start charging and doing what she needs to do.
Well, we're amending an existing ordinance. You might be able to suspend the rules, I think. Is there a motion to suspend?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit. I'll recognize Mr. Minchuk for the second to suspend the rules for ordinance 20-16 to read this on second reading this evening. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yep.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
7 in favor.
7 in favor, motion carries. We're going to suspend the rules to hear ordinance 20-16 tonight on second and final reading. I don't think we need to read it again. Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion?
Second. Is that it?
Boy, you
The same
two,
one?
you two tonight, you know? Motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mrs. Uselak, to read ordinance 20-16 on second reading. I'm sorry, to approve it.
Approved.
Questions or comments from the council? Questions or comments from the public? This is a second reading ordinance. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment tonight? Sir, please approach. Well, this public comment will be specifically on this ordinance that we're going to approve. Well, then it'll wait till at the end, sir. Yep. So hearing no public comment, we'll take a roll call vote. Madam Clerk Treasurer?
Mr. Span? Yes. Mr. Hardaway?
Yep.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
7 in favor.
7-0, motion carries. Moving on to second reading ordinances tonight, ordinance 21-01. Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Sorry. Ordinance dash, I'm sorry, let me get my glasses on. Okay. 21-01 is an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the general obligation bonds for the purpose of, for capital projects in connection with, and incidental expenses for those bonds. It's on second reading, I believe. Please need a motion.
Any We have a motion by Mr. Hardaway,
Second.
second by Mr. Minchuk for approval on second reading of ordinance 21-01. Mr. Svetnoff, anything to add on this GO bond ordinance?
No, it was made pretty clear last time, I think, here in our meeting, President Bella, and I think we should just go forward and adopt the ordinance.
Any other questions or comments by the council? Hearing none, any public comment on this specific ordinance, 21-01? Seeing no public comment, Madam Clerk Treasurer, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Span? Yes. Mr. Hardaway? Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Minchuk, did I say you?
Yes.
Okay. 7 in favor.
7 in favor, motion carries. Also on second reading tonight, we have ordinance 21-01 as amended. Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Mr. Bella, 21-02 as amended.
Yeah. You said 01.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, two,
Okay.
right.
I've got a quick question, Pat, I text you. It says as amended, but the one I have doesn't show amended at the top. I'm not sure, should it? Or should it not? I was
It was amended on the first reading,
I'll
so
read the
we
first.
just kept the same title.
Okay. All right, it's an ordinance of the town of Merrillville. This is an ordinance amending the ordinances 19-26, 19-28, 20-02, and 20-19, and the 2020 salary ordinance, basically adding in the court employees, the 4 court employees who are going to receive, or who've already received their bonuses that the rest of the employees got.
So just to clarify, did they already receive their bonuses? Or they're
Yes.
going to?
Yes.
Yes?
We checked, yes, we sent the checks.
So you sent them checks before we approved this ordinance on second reading?
I did.
Okay,
Based upon the judge's order?
based on the judge's order, Judge Parent?
Yes.
Okay, so we
And
have to
first-
follow Judge Parent's order for sure, but we still have to follow our own town's procedures. So,
Absolutely true, but, you know, as the clerk treasurer, I've been asked by almost every department head and also town council people to make exceptions and cut checks on matters in which we knew were going to be approved prior to the approval.
well, if we ran the town like that, then we shouldn't even have meetings. We should just, if you assume we're going to approve something, we just go ahead and send the checks out. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And didn't our financial advisor tell you to hold off on sending checks, Kelly?
No.
Krista, did you communicate with?
I spoke with her about this before we did it. But because they had not gotten paid, and the judge ordered that it be reset that back to December 30th, and there was some complaints with people with late fees and automatic pays and things that came out, we wanted to make them whole as soon as possible, considering the judge's order said instanter. And since I'm a named party in that as the clerk treasurer, I followed the judge's order.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Excuse me, Leonard, 1 second. Trista, would you mind preparing a letter for the State Board of Accounts and explain what happened here? I don't want the town council to be dinged or get a red flag for not following proper procedures on issuing checks prior to the ordinance being approved. Okay? I don't want that on the council. Mr. White?
yes, I was going to say, was there a way that we can do a retroactive approval? I don't know.
Well, it's
Is that-
already been done,
Checks are already
so
gone.
It's already gone.
How
that's
long
my
ago?
point. We should just
how long-
throw this away. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, how long ago did that happen, actually?
If I listed the amount of times that my
No, I
office has
understand
had
that,
to
Cal.
issue checks, and
Yes.
then we've approved them later.
No,
Yes.
I'm not against
So-
what you
Okay,
did.
so,
Okay.
because it's happened for county administration, it's happened for you, Mr. Bella, it has happened for department heads, it's happened in situations in which we knew that we needed to check for whatever emergency reason, and it didn't make the check run, it didn't make this list to get here on time for the meeting, like tomorrow, the emergency came up, and we had to cut a check. It's happened. And when I talked.
Paying a vendor or reimbursing an employee is a little different than giving out a $2,000 bonus to employees. This is through ordinance, this has to be approved, not just through the claims list, a little different, but it's okay. It's done, it's done.
Well.
I see your point.
But,
Okay. I
right,
do.
well, because and I want to make it very clear, because I'm a named party, and because I was a part of the hearing, and because I read the judge's order, and I spoke with both my attorney and with Trista, and I thought I spoke with you, Rick, but maybe I didn't, so I don't want to say that I did. I felt the judge's order saying instanter meant instanter, and so we are now February 23rd, and that order came out a month ago, or more than a month ago.
No, it
So-
came out on the 27th, I believe, of January, right? So, okay. Thank you.
I didn't want to be in trouble or held in contempt.
Well, I don't want to be in trouble either. That's why I'm saying we're going to flag this so State Board of Accounts knows who
Oh,
did
yeah,
it.
absolutely, and I was
Because
going
the
to.
council's not going to do this.
No, I was going to explain it to State Board's account.
Okay.
As clerk treasurer, no problem, but the ding from State Board of Accounts is a whole lot less of a ding than a contempt citation to the clerk treasurer's office because I didn't do.
Well, I think if we explain to the judge, we're going through the proper process.
That's
I'm
that's
just-
in
I mean,
the eye,
the
that's
judge
in
is
the eye
not
of the
gonna
beholder,
say-
ladies and gentlemen, because
Right.
Rick's gonna have to sign that audit from the State Board of
Yeah,
Accounts.
I mean,
It's
come
our
on.
7 necks on the line when we pass an ordinance, or we take an action, or we tell a bill to be paid, it's the 7 of us. It's not the clerk
Right.
treasurer, it's not the judge, it's not the department heads. They're gonna come after the 7 councilmen first, and Rick in particular as president.
No.
And we've had these audit findings before.
I
So-
I totally disagree. They're going to come after the clerk treasurer, whose responsibility it is to issue the checks and to take care of the finances, despite where most people may believe it is the clerk treasurer's responsibility. And I'm the one who's going to have to sign the audit, and I'm the one who's going to have to report it, as well as I was a named party in the lawsuit, and I was the one who's going to have to explain to Judge Parent why I didn't do it in standard.
But if you can explain why you didn't do it, then that's fine. You're explaining it, right? It doesn't mean you were in contempt of court. You just explained that you were not authorized to send the checks yet.
Right.
And you're waiting for council approval. This is why we have processes in place, that's all. But we'll talk about it further.
Okay.
And I apologize, I don't know where I even am in this ordinance. Are we open to the public, or are we voting? What are we doing? Anybody know?
Well, I thought we had a motion and a second, but I don't.
No, we don't have a second.
Oh,
We
no,
don't have a
we didn't
motion
get a
on it.
second, or-
Motion.
I got lost here.
I did too, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have a motion by Mr. White, second by Mr. Span for approval on second reading of 21-01.
2.
02, why do we keep doing that?
Did you just have a birthday?
21-02. Boy, we're really going to be screwed up, aren't we? Is there any public comment on this? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call.
Councilman Span? Yes. Councilman Hardaway?
No.
Councilman Minchuk?
Yes.
Councilman Uzelak?
Yes.
Councilman Pettit?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Bella?
Abstain.
5 yes, 1 abstention, and 1 no.
Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to BZA actions, Ms. Sheila Shine.
Variance of use approval Z 6 UV1 0121. Petitioner A1 Affordable Signs, owner Chambo Sims, purpose to allow an electronic message center. Location 8000 East Lincoln Highway, C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District. So, this sign was deferred from last council meeting in order to, take a look at the contract of, between the billboard sign and the, dentist. The dentist, there's representatives here from the dentist's office and also the sign contractors here. They have agreed to, lower the sign 15 feet in order to make sure that they, keep their, keep their, what their, I'm struggling up here tonight.
No, that's all good.
In order to make sure that they keep they have a commitment so that they'll be able to see the billboard, so they lowered the sign. And the dentist was, he approved it, and the people are here. So if anyone on the council would like a copy of the sign that shows the lower, I have here.
No, but could the petitioners come forward, please?
Yes.
Up to the podium, in case there's any questions.
Good evening, I'm Ray Thomas from Affordable Sign Company based out of Hammond, Indiana.
Hi, my name is Dolores Bermanes, and I'm the office manager at Smiles on the Land.
So basically, the sign stayed the same, the square footage and everything, and we're just really lowering the height, is that right?
From 20 feet down to 15 feet total height.
Okay. Mr. Pettit, is that going to satisfy,
That is going to satisfy, we've been out, I lost
Oh.
my mic.
okay.
Yes, we looked at, Lamar looked at it, and we are happy with this. I've talked to Dr. Sim personally, and we're in agreement that the 15 feet, because of the slope of the sign, will not violate the existing lease he has with Lamar Outdoor.
Very good. Any other questions or comments from the council?
Mr. President, obviously, I have a fiduciary interest in this, so I will declare, even though it's in my ward, I will declare a conflict of interest since I'm employed by the off-premise sign that's currently on the property.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Hardaway, the second by Mr. Span for approval of this A1 affordable signs with the adjustments. Any questions or comments on the motion? Leonard,
No.
why are you looking at me like that?
I was trying to communicate with you.
Okay.
Telepathically?
Better end this quick.
Don't be scary, man. I know you just had a birthday, though.
I did. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yep.
Mr. Minchuk?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
I abstain, conflict of interest.
Mr. Pettit?
Abstain.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes. That's five.
Five yes and 2 abstentions.
Motion carries. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, have a great evening.
You too.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I signed it? Anything else under BZA? Sheila? No, sir. Great. Old business, any old business before us tonight? Is there any new business before us?
Mr. President?
Mr. White?
Yes, I don't know if this would actually come into new business. I just want to make, if we're not all aware, there was an incident that happened down in Indianapolis, either late last week or, I think it was late last week, and got I don't want to say a letter, but a message from Representative Vernon Smith. Said that they got really treated terribly. The Black Caucus down in and out, they got really treated bad. So he put out actually a statement through the media as well. So I just want, even if nobody else support the issue, I support it because I think they're still our representatives and they should be treated as our representatives. I think there's just a lot going on in this country right now. So I just want to make, maybe you guys don't want to, but I just say it for myself.
No, I was just shaking my head. I'm
Oh,
sorry to
it
hear
was
that.
it was pretty bad. He said some guy came in the bathroom behind him, hollering and screaming at him, you know. And then, you know, the Republicans then said, well, we're tired of you guys calling us racist and stuff. So it kind of went back and forth, and I don't think it had a lot to do with it, but what Vernon Smith did say was that when all the guys, the Black Caucus got together, they had on the African garb and stuff, and that's when they started noticing, they started getting a little hostile action down there. So if you need a copy of that, I could probably send it to you. You might have a better understanding of what I'm talking about.
Sure, I'd love to see it, Leonard.
Okay, so I support them. Last but least, and I don't know if I should say this here either, but I don't have any other choice. Our town Democratic Party chairman, I think some of us already know, passed away last week. It was a terrible loss for the town. Some of us in here are a lot closer, specifically Kelly, me, and Gene Ward. I don't know where he went to, but they were really close. We were all close to the guy. So that's a big loss. And now,
Tony Green, Anthony Green.
yes, right. So I just want to make that known. It was a big loss because that was a guy that really tried hard. Even on election days, he's out there. Even if he's dragging his feet, he still tried to get the job done. And you know, being a precinct committeeman don't pay money. So, so it was just his dedication and love for the town of Merrillville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Open to the public. I know we had somebody. Sir, come forward. Please come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Armando Bugarin. I live at 6779 Jefferson Street. My question is for parking on the street. Is there any type of ordinance that you cannot park too close to a corner? Because I have an issue with 2 corner houses at the end of my block. They're parking their vehicles too close to the corner on both sides of the street, and I only have access, or the whole neighborhood has access to one lane.
Yeah, we do have.
I believe, sir, that, and Sheila might be able to, or Steve might be able to confirm this, there's supposed to be a 15-foot vision clearance as you approach, so you're not supposed to have any cars, you're not supposed to have any trees or bushes, so if you're on a corner, you pull out, you can see, you know, the oncoming traffic, so.
It was in a public health, safety, and welfare risk.
Right.
Because I tried calling, in the past, I called Vicky on that one a few times in the past, and she's done nothing. I sent pictures to the town manager during the snow season. I mean, part of the issue got addressed, but the problem's still there.
So the car is still there, I'm sorry.
Right now, they put a no parking within 2 inches or snow or more. They just did that last month, I believe. And they still did it until they were still doing it until about a week and a half ago. They actually removed the cars now. But the other neighbor from the other house across the street, his car's still there. Which right now is not an issue because at least everybody has more appearance. But my question is, what about during the summer? Because they're still parking there during the
Yeah,
spring.
it has nothing to do with snow or winter.
Right.
It's all the time.
It's all year round.
Right.
Can I ask a question? You say there is a no parking sign there?
Yeah, for 2 inches or more for the snow.
I had that on my street, and you give them a couple tickets, they don't do anything.
Last time I noticed, they only gave them a sticker on I'm not sure who did it, but it wasn't a ticket, but
That's a tow sticker, right?
I'm not sure what it was, but
That's
all
a
they
warning.
did, just remove that vehicle and they just put another one there for a while.
Isn't that a warning when they put the sticker?
I was just going to say, it sounds like a warning
Right.
that if you continue, you'll likely be towed.
And that sticker is the process, so them to say, okay, you broke the law, now we're back.
Okay. Was there any way the town could put a no parking sign within 15 feet from the corner?
Kinda hard in this weather, but,
We'll, yeah, just give the telephone number.
the ground's frozen.
Okay,
You gonna
all right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
bring it, Joe?
Any other public comment this evening?
Mr. President, I have one new business item I'd like to bring up. I apologize, it's a scheduling. In order to continue to move the Boys and Girls Club Epic Town of Merrillville redevelopment process through, the redevelopment commission was provided a timeline, and I was talking with Sheila and Plan Commission President Uzelak, and it does not appear we're going to have a workshop on March 2nd. What I would like to ask Margie is that you call a Plan Commission public meeting for the 2nd at 6:30 so that we can approve that resolution, the second of 4 resolutions that we have to do to keep that on the timeline. So if you would please do that with Sheila.
Sure.
For 6:30 on March 2nd. And Pat will get you the resolution, Sheila, to put in the packets. Okay? Thank you.
So be it. Okay.
Second.
So Marge, did you enjoy your tacos tonight?
My what?
It was Taco Tuesday at Pettit's house tonight.
It is, it
At
is.
whose
I
house?
just assumed you were there, Marge.
Oh, no. No,
I haven't even
I
had tacos
enjoyed
yet,
them a
Mr.
week
President.
ago. I enjoyed them last Thursday at Pepe's.
Okay.
Yeah, they were very good.
All right.
We were waiting for Sean.
The Espinoza family?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
All right, so
Hector.
a few announcements. We have the vacant abandoned properties for February 25th at 10:30 that Mr. Hardaway announced. A BZA meeting February 24th at 6:30. Stormwater Management Board meeting on March 2nd at 3:30. Also on March 2nd now, we have the Plan Commission meeting at 6:30. Is that a regular scheduled meeting then, or just a
No,
workshop?
it'll be a special
Okay,
meeting.
special meeting, thank you. And then redevelopment commission meeting, March 9th at 6 o'clock. And the town council meeting, of course, is March 9th at 6:30.
Mr. President, Rich, did you want to budget and finance on the 9th, or no?
No, 23rd.
23rd, okay.
Any other business before us tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Hardaway. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Aye, aye,
Pat?
aye, aye, aye.
We are
You got a
adjourned.
problem.
Oh, mariachi. Aye, aye, aye.
Rick signed, this is the RDC resolution,
Greg, do you have all
and everybody, I mean, Margie